Hey guys, welcome to another StarCraft history video. I'm actually not really sure where I want to go with this one, to be honest, but as usual, we just pick something and then dive right into it. I've covered the Korean scene, the foreign scene, as well as a little bit of the beginnings of Brood War, which was more of a kind of just like catch-all, over almost 20 years, and I'll dig a little deeper and more specific in the future, but I wanted to go back to StarCraft 2. And I looked at the videos that I have as an option, and I think we're going to kind of move on a fair bit into 2011 and see what's going on. Let's choose around October. Let's go ahead and choose that. I don't actually know what happened, just to be clear. That's the fun of this, is just we get to discover things together. But I'm going to watch it. Okay, no labels. Excellent. Amazing. I love it. I don't want to know. Okay, just picked it. There we go. I don't want to know what's going on. I don't know what players are playing. That would be absurd. That would be crazy. Maybe they do it more oh my god, it's Gumiho. Oh my goodness. Yeah, all right then. Oh, playing on some larger maps. All right, I like that. Okay. All right, maybe we can go up to the... Oh man, Revival. That is a... He did not retire all that long ago, actually. I was going to say maybe we can go up to the Code A Final 8s and see if that gives us any more specific... Nope. All right, then. We're just going to push on through here. So, SC versus Gumiho. Okay. We do have our first new thing to talk about, and that is the Code A system. Oh my gosh, we gotta, there's so many things, that I see something and I'm like, oh my god, that existed. So the Code A system, as well as the non-Tastosis commentators, because they weren't the only commentators forever, guys. So you can see that this is Wolf, who is now a League of Legends commentator after having done everything really for Korea. And we also have Doa, who went on to do League of Legends and then Overwatch, and now does a bit of everything, actually. And he even offered to come on to one of these videos and discuss a little more in detail some of the things he went through. So absolutely, we'll eventually get around to that. Both of us were moving literally the same week, though. But anyways, we'll get into it. I'm just going to kind of gloss over the fact that these guys were generally the backup commentators. That has been a thing since the very beginning of GSL. Tasis and Artosis were the commentators. They're the mainstay commentators. They do Code S, the most important thing. And... before Code A, I guess, was really like super structured, they also did well, we saw they literally did every single match from the round of 64 onwards, which was a ton of video games in some of our previous episodes. We went over that. So not only did that probably get tiring for them, but also they were starting to get invited out to every single MLG under the sun, MLG, Red Bull, NASL, I forget what the other ones are happening. The ones in Europe, whatever they were. There's so many stuff happening, and every single one of them wanted Tastosis. So they would eventually have to leave Korea more often, and then they would have to have some backup commentators. So one of the OG duos would be Wolf and Doa, and then Wolf and Kaldor. We also did have Moletrap for a season in the very, very beginning, who's a really nice guy and actually still plays Brood War and comes into people's streams every now and again. But unfortunately, the fact is he's probably one of the famous examples, or infamous examples, of public backlash. Getting rid of someone. There used to be the GOM TV GSL forums, whichever one it was, and yeah, it was not particularly pretty. This was back during a time in which everyone was still really developing their style. The set way of casting esports didn't necessarily exist either. So we got a lot of our type of commentating probably from Tastosis, right? I don't want to inflate their egos too much, but as far as a widely reaching, very appealing type of commentary duo, working the new coming, like the onset of current modern day esports. I'm just trying to really contextualize this. There's no really getting around it, even though we had other commentators who would come in to StarCraft 2 from further backgrounds in public broadcasting. All right, Tasteless came in as just like a kid, a university student who was like, yeah, I'll cast because you don't know, you need a buddy and you don't really know what you're talking about. And then Day 9 was doing all these videos, and there's a lot of people who weren't necessarily doing it before StarCraft 2, even if they were playing Brood War, they weren't necessarily casting a lot of Brood War. So Tasteless was kind of like one of the unique ones. And then a lot of the other guys that got brought in to do commentating before StarCraft 2 and Twitch developed and made this very organized and structured did include a lot of people who just did every single game under the sun and who probably had been in games and some type of broadcasting for a long time, such as Sir Scoots and DJ Wheat and Red Eye and just kind of all the older figures that you would know. If you want to know more about the days before Twitch and StarCraft 2, and outside of Brood War as well, that does exist. And you can watch my Caster Calls podcast with DJ Wait and Sir Scoots. I'd say that those are the two best ones to go ahead and figure out what they were doing. But anyway, so they weren't really popular enough or like in the mainstream game enough that, you know, because they didn't really exist until StarCraft 2 and Twitch became popular, that when they did come in, they were teaching a lot of the youngsters how the finer points of broadcasting that they learned from doing their like radio broadcasting basically. But wrap it all up. Tasteless and Artosis were basically, again, pushing what we kind of know as esports commentary, especially back in the day, in the beginning of the modern world. Yeah, that was them. So the friendly banter, the very not suit and tie, literally not suit and tie, as well as the general pacing and kind of expectation of what people wanted from their commentators were set not by the Korean commentators, and I would say not set by the people who were putting in the hours before StarCraft 2 and Twitch became popular, but rather was indeed set by Tasteosis. I would say that I would be happy to be disagreed with, and we could all have a great, essay, debate, whatever we want to do. But I would say that. So that was a long spiel about Tasteosis after I said I wasn't going to talk about them. But the point is, other people were coming in and figuring stuff out, figuring how to make their own brand and how StarCraft 2 was going to go. And, we did have a couple of cases of the Korea is still the place to go, the place to be. If I get hired to go out to Korea, I am there in a second. And there was a decent amount of that. Doa would also be performing for a lot of the IPLs and working with IGN and stuff like that. Anyways, so this was a duo that people enjoy, but they were usually fill-ins when Tasteosis wasn't available, or they did Code A, which I've mentioned a couple of times and haven't even gotten to that. There's so much to discuss. But Code A, you might have heard it came back. If you have watched StarCraft 2 in the last 5 or 6 years, you might have heard that Code A came back and then it didn't mean anything. Yeah, that was a scamaz. That was just so weird and disingenuous from GSL. They said Code A is back, and then it was just the qualifier basically that they called Code A. It was really stupid. Code A is not a qualifier. Well, it wasn't a qualifier. Code A was literally another tournament. It was like I don't know enough about traditional sports to have a comparison. It's like, yeah, if I knew more about football or soccer, I think that would be a perfect analogy, but I don't. So anyways, Code S was like the biggest and baddest, right? And if you won Code S, that's meaning you're the world's best, probably. Certainly Korea's best. And then if you won Code A, you basically got like a nod. So it's not quite the difference of university college level versus professional level, but I guess that's the only thing I can really compare it to with my limited knowledge. You got into the higher spots in Code A. I believe you would get spots in Code S if I remember, but if you fell in Code S, you would then go down to Code A. So it was twofold, right? It was a backup plan for people who were starting to not be very good, so they'd start in Code A the next time. And it was a way to still encourage people who were either not good at the time or still working on it to develop their skills. It basically was the only time it feels like Korea really had a ladder of any sort where it wasn't just be the best and be in Code S. There was a little bit more before that. So Code A was broadcast as many of our other tournaments on the, and for GSL it was broadcast on the weekly. So you would have the Code A commentators and the Code S commentators, and then the Code A commentators would cover the Code S commentators. Hopefully that makes sense. But it was a really cool system. I think people really enjoyed it. It did obviously get less popular, and honestly, a lot more players stopped playing in Korea, so there wasn't really a need for Code A. But you can see this is actually literally called Code A Final 8. So this is just the Code A. In the back, before times, we had the booth still, which actually do not really work, just to throw that out there. This has been discussed many times over the last few years, but the booths of old do not come back for a reason. They are not helpful. They kind of add to the look, but are also kind of dorky, I guess, if you're not really into it. And then you also had the teammates here. So I believe that actually looks like either MC or I think it's MC. Anyways, you had the teammates usually come, even if they weren't necessarily the ones playing. They would support, they would go into the booth and they would talk and, you know, encourage and stuff like that. And then you did have fans over to the right side. This is an old studio as well. I think they actually said where it was, the Mokdong studio. The studio that we kind of all really recognize is in Gangnam, actually. Well, kind of. Whatever. And anyways, this is what it used to look like. We do have Terran SC. Okay, great. And who's this? Who's this? Who's this little kid? Come on, give me the name. Gumiho. Oh my goodness. Look at he's gonna pinch his little cheekies. Oh, Gumiho. Also a random player for I believe his very first year. In Code A, I think. I want to say that's the case. I could probably Google it. Give me a StarCraft 2. Gumiho. He was participated as random player in 2010. He making the first Antidate only random player to compete in a GSL. He then started playing Terran full time in 2011. So I nailed it. Memory's amazing. On the Team FX Open, I also will probably talk more about teams the more that I have other things to talk about. Oh, Team MVP. Oh, actually kind of breaks my heart. I wasn't too much of an FX fan, I guess. I mean, I liked Lenok, but anyways. So that's Baby Gumiho. And by baby, I mean just young. He is 9. Okay, this is 2014, so 9 years ago. He's younger, and he looks like a baby. I actually kind of want to see how old he was there. 21. Oh, wow. Okay, he's got a baby face. I had no idea he was 30. I learned something today. Anyways, let's go back to where I was, and I don't even know where I was anymore, because it's not. Here we go. Here we go. One day. Here it is. So they're going to face off in what looks to be a, TVT, actually. So I don't think TVT changed very much, but we do have, once again, the topic of the overlay. We still don't have a lot of, let's call it abuse of the overlay, but we do have, our hotkeys being shown, which initially was cool, but eventually we get rid of hotkeys being shown. If you do want to know your favorite pro gamers' hotkeys, get a replay of them, go into the replay and make sure you have the default overlay on, and you can see their hotkeys. So I used to do that to copy my favorite players. Production tab looks nice, and the map is different. Oh my god, it's dual site. Oh my god, I recognize this map instantly. Okay, they had these maps. Dual site and Test Bug had the same idea, which is that they're different terrains merged together. So the left side is green, the right side is lava. And then they also had a thing called Test Bug, which I'm pretty sure, now I'm like doubting myself. But that was also, I believe, the infamous MMA versus Idra command center being killed map, which if you don't know about that, check out my video about the Idra GG. So, yeah, it was a fun map. I mean, I got giddy as if there's something really exciting about it there. I guess there isn't. I don't know. I have fond memories about these maps. I feel like other people don't. I kind of remember people not liking these maps, but I would always choose them. Oh, they're still using the T8 versus T2. Wow, even all the way up to October 2011, a full year later than the last GSL videos we looked at. I really don't remember that. I guess I glossed over it eventually. Once I learned what the heck it was, I glossed over it. So we do have, again, more typical TVT. Well, not typical, but it's closer to TVT as we know it than some of the other match. Okay, well, this is bizarre. All right, one base Marauder versus one base Blue Flame. Okay, so not exactly the same as today's, but we also even have some of the upgrades we can. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on here. Get me out of the way. Good God. Anyways, you can see some of the different upgrades. Okay, so Cloak, Raven Energy. Did you have to upgrade the missile of the Raven? I don't know what that is. And I thought that was the medevac energy. But now I'm not sure. Now I'm really doubting myself. Let's bring me back up and watch my confusion. Hold on. Wings of Liberty. No, that's the campaign. We do want medevac Wings of Liberty. Here we go. I was right. Okay, the caduceus reactor. caduceus. It increased the medevac starting energy by 25, so when it pops, it has 25 more energy. Basically all of, well, no, the ghosts, I guess, but a lot of, wait, no. Yeah, no, yeah, a lot of the StarCraft 2 upgrades that gave initial starting energy have been taken away, right? Yeah. Yeah, like all of them. They still exist in Brood War, because, you know, nothing changed in Brood War, but anyways. And then I don't know what the other one was. Someone tell me what this was, because it looks so freaking familiar. But I can't place it, you know? Upgrades. Here we go. It's durable materials. I nailed it. Increase the duration of auto turrets from good lord, okay. 180 to 240 seconds. And the duration of point defense drones from 20 to 30 seconds. So there's a couple things to explain here. First of all, the reason that I groaned about the auto turrets is because maybe you just kind of gloss over the numbers, but these are very large numbers. These are large. Yeah, 3 to 4 minutes is, that's a long time to have technically a building on the field. And this would actually cause quite a problem when people ended up abusing Mass Raven. And there's been a couple abuses of Mass Raven in the history of StarCraft 2. But the first one was probably, 2012? Because I remember seeing it on, the Gangnam Style map, but I can't remember the name of it right now. The map where Bomber and a Scarlet fought. Anyways, I remember that having a lot of stalemates because someone would go Mass Raven and literally, like, the minimap was hysterical, man. I did not prep, so I don't have a video of that happening, but oh god, it was hysterical. You know, I could probably find like BC Cutie, Mass Raven, and if I remember the map name, I maybe could have done it. Oh, he's such a popular YouTuber now, it actually doesn't help me. Whoops, okay. StarCraft 2. Mass Raven. Because the minimap is just so funny, okay? Damn these YouTubers making fun content for people. Stop it. All right, then I'm just gonna have to explain it visually. Imagine a minimap and there's like buildings and stuff on it. You're with me so far? And then imagine 1 billion dots are visible to the public, to the viewers. 1 billion, I say. I'm not exaggerating. It just was so much. And it just stood around for 4 minutes because you get the upgrade and then they're just around all the time. It was absurd. And then also, yes, Corvid Reactor. So that wasn't a very fun time. And if we see that later on, I will 100% bring it up and do the meme. But that, I think we covered all of the upgrades. I think I got it. The Caduceus Reactor Medevac upgrade would be changed a lot for Legacy of the Void Beta. Was it Legacy of the Void Beta? I think it was Legacy of the Void. It might have been Heart of the Swarm, actually. But basically, no one got this. The starting energy upgrades aren't the most useful in any of the StarCrafts, I think. But no one really got this one. And so they tried to change it. And before it was the boost that we now know and love, which, by the way, Medevacs could not boost in Wings of Liberty, they had a powerful beam upgrade where the beam would change colors and then you'd be super healed. And it was kind of funny, actually. It was kind of fun to play around with. Okay, that's TVT, though. So let's move on. More TVT. Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my goodness, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Curious. Oh, God. Oh, right into my heart. Right into the nostalgias, man. Slayers Yu-Gi-Oh! What a name. What a god. He was actually pretty good, but most importantly, he was on the team Slayers, which was one of the coolest teams ever. Unfortunately, it had some in-house drama. People basically blamed Jessica for everything. Not me, thankfully, but Slayer's Jessica, which was the wife of a boxer, who she still is actually, of Slayer's Boxer. Slayer's Boxer named Slayer's Boxer since his beginning days in Brood War. First joined or helped create Team SK1. Then he helped create the Air Force Ace team in Pro League to play Brood War. He was in the Air Force. And then he went to StarCraft 2 and decided that he'd finally make a team that's actually called Slayers to fulfill his destiny and have his name a team. I think it was also a clan back when he first started playing Brood War. But the point is, we finally have Slayers. It's my favorite team. I was devastated when they broke up, but Slayers Jessica, I don't want to be sued by her, but she was not the nicest person. She wasn't the best influence. And in general, I think we could kind of already see some of the Korean sponsorships and interest starting to wane pretty early on. Not 2011, but maybe 2012, honestly, by that point. Broodlord Infestor made everyone really sad. is my theory. But Slayers is my favorite, so I cheered for anyone who was on Slayers. And then we do have Curious, who's also a Zerg player. He played for a very long time. He was pretty good too. I want to say he made it to a finals. I'm actually not sure. And I don't even know what team he's on. Hold on here. What the heck is that? Who dat? Who dat? I don't recognize it. I really don't. I don't recognize his jacket. I do recognize the Razer StarCraft headset. Whoa. Yeah, Razer and StarCraft 2 hooked up to make a headset, a mouse, and a keyboard, I believe. I had the keyboard. I think I might have had the headset too. That wouldn't surprise me. Because Razer sponsored Slayers, so. I definitely got the same Razer mouse as Boxer because, you know, fangirl. Crossfire. Crossfire is a very short map that had a lot of twists and turns. Still very short, though. ZvZ, hell of a drug. In 2011. You know, it's not that different from laddering ZvZ right now. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what the commentators are discussing.
For Curious.
Yeah.
Now, the Zerglings of Yu-Gi-Oh! See that Curious' Zerglings are going away, and he's actually going to perhaps try to corner them here, but the Queen is going to be in trouble.
He's like, oh, I need help. And there are Zerglings there to defend.
No.
Yeah, now he's going to corner these Zerglings. His speed's about to finish, too.
Oh, if he can trap him.
Nice control by Yu-Gi-Oh, man.
I love the pixels.
Yeah. And he's about to kick in the nos. He does.
And there he goes. He ignores those Zerglings. He's going all the way towards the main of Curious, where a spine has already been made. The Queen is on the ramp to block.
That hatchery might need to get canceled, though.
How dare Curious take a hatchery in this matchup? You fool.
Hatchery is going to be in a vulnerable spot, but
he's going to the ramp. I don't know why.
I don't think he should be doing this. The Queen is doing so much DPS. He doesn't even have a better concave with the Zerglings.
Yeah, he could just be making. He could literally be making that hatchery cancel right now.
He might want to wait till it finishes and then kill it so it cannot be canceled.
That's true too, but now he's going to go after it. We'll see. He's
There's just a ton more Zerglings coming out for Yu-Gi-Oh! And he's going to trap the Lings of Curious here.
I don't think the Lings would have been enough. It's not that many. That's not that big of a Ling difference.
Perhaps.
Oh. And he still wants to get in the main.
Oh,
and
here come the main Lings.
Oh! Whoa, that was close.
I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Has kind of botched this.
To a certain extent, yeah, I definitely.
It's great. It's great. But it's, you know, it's ZvZ. What do we expect? What, you know, is it supposed to be good? I don't think so.
YP.
Oz versus JYP. JYP, also a very popular singer in Korea. Oh my goodness, Antigua Shipyard. Oh no. Oh, flashbacks. Antigua Shipyard had so many Brutal Infestor games. I think it became a map that eventually you could only have cross spawn. This is close by air is what we used to call it. This is a PvP as well, so I wonder how crazy this is going to be. But JYP, not just a popular singer, but actually a player. You know, the initials of the player. He is the commentator for Korean StarCraft 2. He became a commentator, gosh, shortly after he left EG, I guess. I guess after his military service? No. He actually started after he left EG, did it for a couple of years, and only kind of recently went to military service, I want to say. He recently came back. Anyways, the point is he became a integral figure to the StarCraft 2 Korean scene, even after his pro gaming days. Oz was a pretty good Protoss, actually. I think most people really liked him. He's not Hwasong Oz, but what was his team? If I gave it a real TSL, GYP. Yeah, I didn't see the other one, though. FXO, okay. Or FX Oz, FXOs. It's clever. Anyways, it's one base versus one base, which honestly isn't so different compared to now. Maybe PvP actually became more similar than anything else. Oh my goodness, the Dark Shrine Rush. So you also saw once again a map with the smoke where you could hide a pylon there. Surprisingly, JYP didn't hide the pylon in there. It's like he hoped that Oz would scout into it and then immediately leave, which is very possible actually. But that would have had to force fast warp in as soon as warp gate was done. I don't know why you have a void ray out. I don't remember PvP back in the day, but they both went TTs. No change in the observation structures, by the way, guys. You either got cannons or you got observers. So they both got an option, I suppose. You know, it's actually, this could look like a modern day PvP, honestly. Maybe not the Forge response so much, but still. We are already past 24 minutes, so I gotta wrap it up. I'm sure there's a lot more things that I can look at, but that'll do it for now. So I think we all it's a beach. Oh my goodness, it's a beach. Oh, there's Motrap. Motrap's still... Oh, I actually thought he left the casting team a lot sooner. I thought he actually... Honestly, I thought he left in 2010. I would not know. But cool, that's Motrap. He was a Brood War content creator, and I guess kind of still is right now, but obviously got into StarCraft 2 when it came out. So, some highlights, and then you know I want to see that map. Give me the map. Give me it. Give me it. I still don't know what team he's on. I could actually look, though. Bel'Shir Beach. Into Crossfire. Daybreak was in the map pool about 50,000 years. Dual site and Antigua Shipyard. Yeah, these are the good days, man. But man, this map was so cool. I mean, why don't we have any beach maps anymore? Bel'Shir Beach also had a winter theme. Winter Bel'Shir Beach was really cool. It literally just changed from, summer to winter. I thought that was a really cool mechanic. And the map is extremely large. You can see that we're finally experimenting with some of the larger maps. Even though Antigua Shipyard, I think, is more of a normal map as we know it now, it probably still is on, like, the edge of small, because it's supposed to be. If we're saying it's a macro map with 4-player spawn, I think today would be much, much larger. But, yeah, we're getting larger in maps. We're playing out the game a little bit more, which is exciting. And also experimenting with some of the terrain and whatnot. So that's really cool. We're at a point, I think, where TVZ is settled on a Hellion opener versus Ling Bane, Ling Muta. And then you go into tanks because Widowmines don't exist. Siege Tank upgrade is still in play even in October 2011. Am I getting that right? Am I just... Don't pay attention to the upload. Yeah. Interesting. Well, anyways, yeah, 2011, we still had the Siege Tank upgrade. I mean, did we have that for All Wings of Liberty and I'm just freaking out, man? Do I just not remember? That is very possible. I just completely deleted that from my mind. And the typical back and forth, but you can see that even the creep spread in the map, the way that the Zerg has to expand is very different. We still have that obnoxiously bright purple creep spread. Oh, because he lost his main, that's what happened. I was like, that's a weird map. That's weird. No, that's what happened. But still, not a whole lot of creeps to really work with. Third base, gold bases. Nice. Excellent. Anyways, yeah, we gotta cut it because I don't want to go on forever. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed another episode of StarCraft History. Hopefully we'll have some guests in the near future as I get something organized. And more StarCraft 2 history will be on the way. We skipped basically a year and still had too much to talk about. Because I wanted to talk about, some of the MLGs and some of the early IEMs. And couldn't get around to it. So it's just too much, man. So stay tuned for another one, hopefully coming out next week. Bye, guys.